everyone, it's me Jenny. It's time for another comic commentary channel update video. There hasn't really been that many updates for this week other than playlists. Fingers crossed will be up to date by the time the video is online. And the announcement that I made yesterday, which was Tuesdays, will now be a random vlog slash movie review vlog slash whatever I happen to be thinking of if there isn't a Movie Club Strikes Back review to do. So that's really all that's up to date. And on to the comments. There's a lot of comments because I'm covering obviously the past week plus a couple of videos which were uploading quite fast succession, so I couldn't quite cover them in the comic commentary for last week. So catch up videos. My Little Book, where I was reading My Little Book, which is a very small children's book. Boss Virgil says his favourite book was as a child, well, one of the favourite ones was Are You My Mother? Pretty sure I read that one when I was little, although I don't own it. So yeah, I can definitely, I get a hint of nostalgia that's not from Doctor Who when thinking of that title. Let's see, what's next? Cosplay, my video announcing my new cosplay. Baxon says that asked whether or not I was a vampire because I said I was blindingly catching on fire in the sun. I'm not a vampire, I'm just English, and also a kind of as much as I like being outdoors, I burn very easily, so yes, I'm not a vampire, but I do burn very easily. KSJ Hawker, yes, it's unlikely that I would genuinely spontaneously combust, but I wouldn't be surprised again with the sunburn comments, because I'm a pale human being, I'm a very pale human being. On my Gaming Monday video, one of the things I said was happy as a duck. Boss Virgil asked about where that phrase come from. I think it's happy as a duck in a pond or happy as a duck in rain or something. It's to do with, like, the whole phrase is to do with a duck being happy in its environment, and I just shortened it to happy as a duck, which is kind of funny in its own right, so I like that. On the same video, tour... Oh, one sec. Oh yes, common commentary. Last week's ComCom, Tor said thank you for the shout out, so I yet again say if you're not subscribed to Tor Times, go over to Tor Times and subscribe to her. She's doing Vida, she's awesome, and she's just a sweet, awesome person. And yeah, shout out again, shout out part 2, the sequel. Baxon, I talked about filming, possibly streaming me watching a film and reacting to it. I'd be interested to look up what the legality of that would be. Obviously I think I would have to do, it'd have to be a live show that I would then immediately privatise, otherwise I would get in trouble for things like copyright. But I might be able to do like a highlight reel if I do it as a live event and then do a highlight reel for a different occasion. I'll think about that, but I'll be interested to see how it does it. And I'm not really sure about the rules on Twitch when it comes to live streaming movies or live streaming content that isn't to do with games, but it's an interesting thought. I will have to put more research into it. Nathan, you know, I was really angry that I hadn't watched Dragon Ball Z. You know what's really bad? The fact that I've watched the Dragon Ball Z live action movie. Now, I will say I was really tired or really drunk, or a combination of both, because I definitely don't remember watching all of it. I think I fell asleep about a third of the way in. I remember it being awful and hilariously awful, and because I hadn't had any previous relationship with the original content, I just thought it was an incredibly stupid video, an incredibly stupid movie. I wasn't offended to my core because I didn't have that association, but I could see that it was a god-awful movie. But I haven't watched the original series, I have watched the movie though. Boss Virgil... What I wouldn't know is, like, what would the anti-classy Nemesis be called? Because we've been having this debate about my ultimate ego, who's my Nemesis, but what would the anti-classy Nemesis name be? I'd like to know the name of the supervillain that would be my anti-classy. And KSJ, that's great internet. I'm so jealous right now. Okay, on my Into Darkness review, Baxorn talked about how he really disliked it, and it's one of those things that I've talked about it before, talking about the really enjoying adaptations through separate universe interactions, and there's probably a perfect example of that in that it is a separate universe, it is a different universe to the original franchise. So I really enjoy the cross-hatching and the twisting round of the universe, and how they've like reversed characters. One character who was on the other side of the glass, who was dying, versus the Khan they switched around those roles. And for me, I very much enjoyed that, but I wasn't desperately attached to the original film. I didn't watch the original film until I was 22. I think it was last year, so I think I was 21 when I first watched the Wrath of Khan movie, and at that point I'd just marathoned all of the original series for the first time. So I wasn't desperately invested in the original content, but as a new viewer to the movies, I really like the cross-hatching and I really like the overtures, but that's just my experience. I've talked, like, when it comes to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, how having viewed the original content as the ultimate pinnacle of that content, of that story, how watching an adaptation is incredibly hard and just frustrating, and so I can empathise with that reaction. KSJ also commented about how predictable some of that was, particularly the story, and how it was, based on the original Wrath of Khan film, and how it kind of twisted with it and still made it predictable. I think just generally movies are relatively predictable. If you're going with classic story tropes, that makes films naturally somewhat A to B, but that's not to say it wasn't an enjoyable film, and it didn't do some good twisting grounds with the original plotlines. Okay, on to the next page. Starting my Mecha cosplay, so this is an entire week, in theory, later from the beginning of this video. Baxorn said that he really liked Kid from Soul Eater. I really enjoyed him. I love the character quirks for all of these guys, and none of these guys are flawless. Kid is so close to being the perfect perfect Meister, and yet he's a bit of a sloppy mess, and it's really cool, interesting character trait, and I like how they deal with the crippling nature of OCD but do it in a humorous way without it being insensitive. I just really like that. I thought it was just an entertaining character. All the characters in Soul Eater are entertaining. And thank you, Boss Virgil, for your support. All I've said is thank you for the support in my notes, so thank you. I think that's helping me actually keep going with making this cosplay, so fingers crossed you guys actually watching my videos will actually encourage me to make a cosplay. On to Spirited Away. Baxorn has never seen it, which is a shame. I think it's well worth one watch, but Nathan Lyle said that he only really watched it once and he wasn't that invested. He enjoyed it but he didn't love it, which, for me it's definitely one of the animes that if no one's watched anime, I would recommend Spirited Away as the first experience of an anime, because it's a good crossover between the Disney cartoon stuff, the Shinto aspects, the cute aspects, and the darker aspects of anime. It's kind of all rolled into one. So it's where I'd first start. If you don't love it, that's not the end of the world. Everyone's different. So that's kind of a good balance between Nathan and Baxorn. James Blunt said it was his favourite Studio Ghibli, so that's a real range of opinion. There's the completely blank, hasn't seen it, the liked it but didn't love it, and the absolutely adored it. So that's the scale that this film introduces. It's really worth at least one watch. And Boss Virgil suggested I see or watch or do Ori and the Blind Forest. I think that's a video game. I've never heard of it, but I will look it up, and it might be nice. I know that there is a game which is designed by Studio Ghibli, which I can't remember the name right now. I know it's been recommended to me as well. I do like the visual aspects of Studio Ghibli's. I think they're really entertaining, really beautiful, and I wouldn't mind immersing myself physically in the world, as in playing a game version of it rather than just spectating. Naked Truth. Generally you guys were really supportive. I loved all your feedback on my Naked Truth regarding feeling self-conscious about things. 123 Curiosity 1321 said that makeup kind of hides certain more unique characteristics, which is definitely a true thing. There's the standard is the attractive thing, and makeup is designed to make you more attractive, so it makes you more standard. So it was an interesting comment that you made on makeup, and thank you for viewing. I've never seen you comment before, so hello. Mark commented on a lot of things as well, particularly self-confidence and dyslexia. We've been having this conversation about dyslexia. Yes, there is a lot of confidence issues to do with psychological aspects, not just physical aspects. Boss Virgil said a lot of stuff as well. He even broke it down to bullet points, and particularly compared himself to me in terms of similar relationships with comparing yourself to others and self-confidence. And last but not least, my tea at home with Jenny confession that I have milk first in my tea. Kind of got the reaction I was expecting. For example, Nathan asked what the big deal was, because he's from a community that mostly drinks iced tea if they drink tea at all. There's KSJ, who is shocked and appalled. He thought I was a sensible English lass. Well, a lot of you just commented on what you like to drink, which is what I asked, which is perfect. So Baxon said that he's a bit of a caffeine addict, so you know, each of their own. I've said it before, I feel like if I were to actually have caffeinated things, I would end up like the squirrel at the end of Hoodwink 2. You have to record his voice and then play it back in slow motion in order to understand what he says, because I'm one of those people that naturally manages to get up the energy and then will just crash without the use of caffeine. I think if I had more caffeinated drinks that were more caffeinated than tea, for example, I would probably be a squiggly mess. Nathan, I've already said that. Mark doesn't like tea, so each of their own again. Eric likes tea with sweetener, as I think I commented back, that's not unheard of, but each of their own again. Ryan doesn't drink it, and Boss Virgil likes his coffee like he likes his men, which is a reference to Aeroplane, which is a fabulous movie, which I have reviewed, I think. And that's the end of my comments. Sorry this video is so long. These videos are getting very, very long because I'm trying to reply to as many comments as possible. In fact, all of the comments, at least all of them as yet. So keep commenting, keep chatting, and I'll see you guys all next week for another comment commentary / channel update thing. And my window is open, so people can see me talking to myself. A very confused lady just jogged past my house and gave me a look like, what the hell is that girl doing? That's awkward. I'm going to stop filming, and I'll see you guys all very soon.